Alright, a new week of Ranked, and sadly this is the last video where we're going to have time-space anomaly, or spatial rupture, whatever it's called, the board wipe that mills half. Sadly it didn't make the cut. I've not been impressed enough to keep it in the deck. So, we are here against Cabase, and they are playing a really spicy fun deck that I wanted to highlight, so I bumped this one to the front of the video. So we see Bant and Suspicious Stowaway, so you know what, I'm just going to helix this. I'm assuming this must be like a Bant unblockable kind of, mono blue tempo kind of deck. Skyclave Apparition takes away our cornucopia. It's interesting. Play land and play a Widespread Thievery. You know what? Singularity Rupture, that's a card. It did come up a few times where we did get the interaction of putting it under the widespread and casting it, but sadly it didn't hit right, if that makes sense. Vanifar, so instantly I'm like, okay, immediately board wipe. Because I'm assuming now, I'm like, okay, this is a Vanifar deck. Clearly they must be trying to combo. And I see a Charming Prince, I'm like, that makes sense. Charming Prince could flicker effects to buy them back and do them again. It's not necessarily part of a Vanifar combo line that I was aware of, but I was like, someone's figured something out here. Beseiju takes away, gives us a ramp spell. You know what, I don't mind. Since we can grab any land, let's get one of our Triumphs so we have more of our colors covered. And then let's just helix this guy to take care of him now. Unmoored Ego, so I'm like, I'm going to name Vanifar because I'm clearly sure you must be a Vanifar combo deck. And there's no other Vanifars in their deck. And I realize this is a Neoform Oculus Blink deck, which is really sick. So for those of you unaware, they are looking to play a 2-drop creature and Neoform to cheat out an Oculus on like turn 3. It's a really sweet interaction. And they're also running some upper end stuff there. We saw Faster to get some additional blinks to blink the Manifest Dread, and Elishnorn to as a higher up 5-drop they can get into with Neoform and other stuff. Touch of the Spirit Realm is also there to blink the Manifest cards or even take out our cards. Like, this was a really sick brew of a deck, and I really advise. It's probably better than the Delve version of Oculus I made. Let's cycle this land, let's cycle this land. And I was literally sitting here like, this feels like we're paying the cool deck tax, where opponent has got a really cool deck, so Arena's like, we want you to see this deck, so we're just gonna make sure you just, don't get anything fun. Yeah, I'm glad I did that. Yeah, if they hadn't conceded there, you saw there, our Widespread Thievery flipped 4 more lands. We just drew a land, cycled for 2 lands, and played a land. So 9 lands in a row. Okay, knowing that in line, I'm going to bring in the Fatal Pushes because anything they want to Neoform will be a 2-drop, which is instantly in range of Fatal Push. Valky's a bit slow. I'm going to take out the Widespreads because since we brought that back, our opponent might tech their sideboard to take out more enchantments, so we'll leave it open. Plus, we saw that they have Skyclave Apparition. Alright, we're going to hold up this Fatal Push for the 2-drop that inevitably comes down. There's a Charming Prince, so let's make sure they don't have anything available to Neoform. Then we can hold... Ooh, you know what, we'll play... Since we drew the Clarion, we can play this and bait them out. Suspicious Stowaway comes down. Let's helix that, so they don't have anything else. Play another tap land. We could deploy the Biotech. Ooh, Company. Skyclave Apparition misses, which is pretty good. So let's Clarion, just keep their board clear. Again, I'm scared they're holding a Neoform, so I'm like, no creatures, never have creatures, you're not allowed creatures. Biotech comes down, gives us our Lander token. Doesn't really need it right now because we have so much stuff, but I'm happy to just see it. Ooh, interesting card, Unblockable. See, there's an unblockable like sub-theme in this because they also have the Enduring Curiosity to draw additional cards, and the Silent Hellcreeper draws cards. Like, this felt like 2 or 3 mashed together decks, but it functioned really well. So they're hard casting an Apparent Oculus. Let's pop a Lander token here. We need to get an additional white here for the board wipe, so we'll just make sure we have that. Let's see what we draw here. We draw Joshua, so I'm just going to drop the Verdict to make sure they can't do anything else. But they have the Touch of Spirit Realm to protect it. I didn't realize it also served as a way for them to blink the Oculus. Okay, Oculus comes back. So we are going to take 5 here. The Enduring Curiosity draws them a card. Play another land. They'll Manifest Dread. Maelstrom Pulse is pretty good here, so let's bring Yuri onto hand and play him. I'm going to Blink Joshua here. I'm going to get rid of the Maelstrom Pulse, which is a bit controversial, but I don't think... Yeah, I was going to say, they were holding up mana, so I was pretty sure that there's something else in line here. Power Oculus comes in. We will take it, go down to 6. So we are in danger of just getting run over here. They have 2 mana open, which is definitely a blink to protect the Oculus. We find nothing but land, so let's flip Joshua. He'll give us a bit of lifelink and give us another blocker. A lifelink blocker, which is also very, very relevant. They attack in, and yeah, I 100% know this is an Oculus, so I'm going to let you flip it. Yep. There we go. Let's cycle the land. If we can keep alive till this Joshua flips over. That would have been so good, because we could have pushed the Oculus, but unfortunately we're out of mana. Populous Innkeeper, there's a Fassa, so now they can start blinking stuff. They blink their card, which is a Touch of Spirit Realm, which takes away the Joshua, and yep, they've got this one. Really sick deck. Okay, so we're going to take out 1 or 2, we think we take out the pushes, and we bring in more ways to just answer stuff. We do a little shift around there. So, yeah, so this is a Oculus Blink Neoform deck. Bant colored, and I was super impressed. I actually really liked it. So, okay, we need red, and I'm sure that we won't get totally screwed and never draw red this whole game. Nervous laughter. Tap land. Charming Prince is going to come down. Scry 2. I haven't seen blue yet, but if they blew into a potential Neoform here, we could just be in trouble. No, but they'll give us another Biotech Visionary, which is very scary. We're going to take 2 here. Plays a land into a Fassa. Blinks the Charming Prince. Scries 1 to the top. Right, we'll just play the Biotech here and pass it back. We'll hold up the Lander token just to get our land drop, because we're playing the cool deck tax here. There's their company, which finds an Archon and an Oculus. Archon's a bit of a problem because now it means that we cannot bring to light into an answer. We'll block with the Biotech because he's got a big butt for free. Blink with a Charming Prince. They're going to exile the opponent to avoid a potential board wipe. So we will... I forgot that that's a thing, so we'll just gain 2 life here. Play another Biotech. We won't attack in. Oculus comes down. They move to combat, swing in for 7. We are okay to take this right now with the Ancient Cornucopia. We're gaining some life. And we can do 4 damage with a Biotech. Right, since it's an Assassin's Trophy in response. So the Voice of Resurgence would gain them some cool creatures. Like, this deck is sick. I really actually wanted to play this after playing against it. So Archon is cut down. They could have another company. They go to the blink phase. Yep, they go for the Charming Prince blink here. Exiling the opponent Oculus to keep it alive for potentially any danger that we could do. Right, time to bring to light. We could be playing into counter magic here, but 5 life from a Niv would be really sick. So we play Niv. Gain 5 life, return into a full 20. Draw for our turn. We draw a single card, which is a Supreme Verdict. So let's just... Now we have triple board wipe. So let's just scare them into keeping the Oculus out of the field right now, because as long as the Oculus is blinked out on their turn... Oh, this is sick. So we will float a land, take an action, get a land which can come into play untapped, pay 2, pop the Lander token, do 4 damage, get another land here. So we are sorted. We are in danger though, because Fassa's secondary ability can tap down our board here. Oh, are they just casting another Oculus? No, there's only 3 cards in their graveyard. Alright, they're drawing a card. They're looking for a way through the Niv, but if they would just tap it with the Fassa, they've got it. Right, they know we have the board wipes there. Yep, they're going to... Oh, there's scrying too. So they must have another way to protect it here. Okay, in response then, we're just going to play the Widespread Thievery. So, this is where things will get crazy. So, let's put Cosmic Rebirth under it. Play the Clarion. But this is an example of an opponent not reading the card. So we don't want to kill the Biotechs here. So I'm going to attack with Niv first, in case they have something. Puts them down to 6. Then we can definitely Clarion, but just gain lifelink. But our opponent sees this and immediately taps because they think that we're going to, you know, do something crazy. Right, they flip a Prosperous Innkeeper. We'll just pop the treasure here to do 4 damage, put him down, gain life, because Biotech does the damage and it had lifelink at that point. So we're still on 22 here. They could... Oh, there's a Skyclave. Takes away the treasure production, yep. Good top deck for them. Plays another land. Problem is, we can just attack in with the Niv here if they don't tap it down. So, on their turn, Blinking Skyclave. It's going to give us a free, which is pretty good. And they're going to take away a Biotech again. Right, they go to Manifest. Well, let's just go for the attack with the 6/6. Yep, there's the tap down. In response then, we'll play this. Grab Yorion. Play Yorion. Blink our board here. Gain ourselves some more stuff and another reload. Oop, forgot to reload. I was so in fault with this deck that I forgot about the reload. Wandering Might can help us dig for more stuff. Normalize probably is too late in the game to do anything here. Or it could just be enough to throw them off tempo to do something good. So they can't attack in now, realistically, or do anything, because... Well, it depends what they do here. Vassar. Blink, touch the Spirit Realm, take away the Niv. That's fine. Going to Manifest Dread. In the response to the Manifest Dread, we will ding with the Lander token. Get another land out of our deck, because we've had enough of them now. See what we draw. Supreme. Sweet. So let's play Supreme. Oh yeah. So we can now flashback anything, and from what we've seen of their deck, I don't think they have a way to kill Supreme. It's another classic thing of monocolored decks without an option. Plus we can Assassin's Trophy to get the Niv back here. I think we've pretty much locked this up. It was a really good back and forth, and this deck was really sick. Capsicea Ba, or however you say your name. Really cool design deck, and I hope I see more people playing stuff like this. A Bant Blink deck is actually a really sick deck. Alright, our opponent is genuinely considering their options. Drawing a card here. Play a Charming Prince. We're going to normalize it, which will give them a 8/8, but it slows their Blink shenanigans down. Neoform to grab a Fibblefip to draw cards. Plays a card tapped. In the end step, what do they do here? They blink the Skyclave to give us another 2/2, take away the other Biotech. They're going to Manifest Dread in their upkeep, but they have no mana to actually do anything with it. So if we just flash back this Assassin's Trophy here, so we jumpstart the Assassin's Trophy, killing the Oculus. Yep, that's enough to take it out. Good game. Alright, we are into second match here against the Clash. And yeah, this is an example of when you should not keep a slow hand. So, Spyglass Siren. So this is the Ensoul Artifact deck. Now they appear to be going pretty slow here. They're just deploying a lot of their 1/1s to make tokens. But this deck can be insanely explosive because out of nowhere they can drop the Ensoul artifact to turn anything into a 5/5 or Shrapnel Blast us for 5 damage. Yeah, there's the Ensoul. So we could be literally dead. So I play the Cornucopia here, just hoping we survive one more turn. But we get hit down to 4. And they have the Shrapnel Blast. So yeah, we are dead on turn 3 to an aggro deck. That is kind of, though, their perfect hand. You know, creature that makes, or turn 1 artifact into Ensoul into thing. We were a step behind. So we ultimately take out anything a bit too slow. So this is where Singularity Ruptures were just laughable. Because even if we would have put them under the, you know, get the lucky roll to throw them under the Widespread Thievery, it'd still be way too slow against this deck. So we have to mulligan here. We find no white. So ultimately I get rid of the Fatal Push, which is a really stupid decision here. This is me trying to bait the game into being like, oh, better give me a white, and it did, so I could cast spells. There is one thing you have to be aware of, though, when you play against this deck. Now, a lot of their counterplay after the fact is, it depends on how it goes, but 9 times out of 10, they will sideboard in a huge amount of interaction in the form of counterspells to try and out-tempo you, and sometimes we can get really lucky. Cryptic Coat, yep, so that's an unblockable threat coming through. Again, we've drawn nothing but lands. It definitely felt rough this game. You have to be prepared for this matchup as well, because this match is going to come up again later in the video, because we ran into it quite a bit. Smuggler's Copter. Okay, so if they have the counter here, we're just dead. They don't, so let's grab, I have to grab Niv, which is risky, but I could Culling Ritual here, but I don't think, yeah, we found the Culling Ritual anyway, so ooh, we got lucky there. So we can't block the face down card, but they have an Odawara, so they bounce and get 6 damage in from here. So we are by no means safe. Oops, I accidentally paused the video there. Alright, so we're probably going to have to just drop a Culling Ritual, take out most of their board, and hope that we're going to be okay. We'll flood the mana into holding up the Helix here, because we've just got to hold up a Helix, because if they go for the Shrapnel Blast play to kill us, we can gain life to slow them down. They do go for it. If they have a Spell Pierce, they're still there. We're down to 2. We're still not safe. They could Shrapnel Blast us again. There's an Epicure putting us down to 1. There's a Siren Spyglass, so we could just die here. So let's Wandering Mind, hope we can find something. We find another Helix, so we're taking that. We're going to play a land tapped, and then we've got a Helix off the bat. In fact, we can't afford to, so we're just going to pass and pray. If they've top-decked a way to... Okay, they go for the map, so to cut them off from value, we've got a Helix here. Go up to 4. If they swing in, we will trade. 100%. We're still holding our Niv here. Cryptic Coat, so we can't block that. So we're going to have to play Niv, draw a card. Alright, we find another Helix, which will buy us some more time. Fortunately, the Ward 2 is going to make it pretty much impossible to hit this Helix until next turn. So we really just... Yeah, you see here, they drew a land, pass it back. If they Ensoul artifacts... Oh, they pass land, so they don't have anything. Yep, they pass because they realize the math's off. We can take them out. Whoo-wee. Alright, then we run into game 3. And, well, game 3 is a bit unique. Ultimately, it's kind of an example of just them getting a really good hand over us here. And ironically, they just had some good stuff and spell piercing counters to keep them alive and put pressure on us. So, because the video is slightly out of sync here, I'm going to cut the recording here. Okay, so we have a return to form. Well, what I mean is we're going to now see the other side of the coin when we play against the Ensoul artifact deck. So this one is trying out the Carvoon Harrier, which is a pretty good rate for an aggro card. So we're gonna play lands and deploy stuff, hoping that they go for, yeah, there's a Cryptic Coat. I'm gonna take 2 here. So let's play the Deafening Clarion, wipe the board. There's a Epicure and a Siren Storm Tamer. Right, so we'll play a land, we'll play the Biotech here. We can pop that to get another land because, you know, we have so many lands right now. They're going to return the Cryptic Coat to redeploy it to manifest again. Yep, there we go. They're holding up mana, which makes me think they could have a Spell Pierce. That is something this deck runs. So, in the end step, let's pop the Lander token. We'll ding them for 2. Let's get ourselves a basic to cover stuff. We'll get blue. Then let's go Shikai, Paragon of the Way. We'll exile the Clarion here and board wipe again. Right, so they have burn. Yep, torch the tower, exile Shuka, or Shukai, whatever. Siren Storm Tamer, Vidalcan Epicure again. No Ensoul, so I'm pretty happy with that. Right, Cryptic Coat on the top. We top deck a Niv, which is perfect, so we'll deploy him after playing a land. Singularity thing again, but I seriously don't want to play it. So we're going to Helix, kill the Siren Stormglass Chamber. We want to keep our life total relatively healthy. They're just redeploying the Crypt Coat, so nothing too major here. It is unblockable, which is pretty unfortunate. There's an Ensoul artifact on the top. Right, play the Ancient Cornucopia for life gain. Again, keeping our life total healthy here is pretty relevant. So we can go up to 14, make a Lander token, swing in for 6. Right, we can Vanishing Verse the Ensoul if they put it on an artifact. Right, we go down to 10. They play another Cryptic Coat. Okay. So, we'll crack the Lander token, putting them down to 10. Get another land out of our deck. They're going to cycle away. Oh, interesting. They're clearly looking for burn, probably. Probably Shrapnel Blast to try and win the game that way. No More Lies, not the greatest. So let's cycle with the Sparta's Headquarters. Finding a Bring to Light, that actually wins it for us. So, Bring to Light. And you might ask, how does that win it for us? Well, it's maths. We are going to grab I'm just checking all of our options. We're going to grab a Biotech Specialist, which will give us another Lander token. So with the Lander token on the field now, I'm going to swing in with Niv here, see if they have anything to kill Niv or bounce him. Once that 4 damage is done, we've won the game, because we sack the Lander token, and the Biotechs will then do the lethal 4 damage to kill the opponent. They cycle away a land to just pass it, and it goes back. Pretty sick. Pretty sick. Now, in the previous version, I mentioned that one of the big problems we can have in this deck is that they can very easily switch into a more controlling matchup. Now, if you're going to play in Soul Artifact deck, don't overcommit that point. You'll see what happens in this match or the match following, where the opponent goes so heavy on a handful of control that they're not pressuring, and you are not going to win the late game. So, as you see here, they shock a land in, so we'll just shock a land in too. They play a second land. Let's play a Biotech. Pass back. Play a land. They have a Cryptic Coat. So, on our turn, I'm going to choose the Ancient Cornucopia, just to gain life here. Like I said, they're an aggro deck. This is a card that can perpetually gain us life, even if they counter our spells. So, they let that go. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to shock in here, and I'm going to go for Fatal Push, Pain the Ward. because I want to see what they have here. So in response to that, they go for a Mystical Dispute, paying fully. So in response, I'm just going to exile the Cryptic Coat, because that's the more dangerous part of it. Because now we can block the manifested card, and they can't do anything with it. Nutrient block. Oh, 6. So let's shock in. Try and play the Widespread Thievery. Opponent goes for an annul. Interesting choice. I can't remember what enchantment we played previously. I'm guessing they assume that we have Leyline Binding. In response, let's crack this Lander token. Get another land out of our deck. Play another land, shocking in. We're going to go for Bring to Light here. They have Disdainful Stroke. No big deal. Put Yorion into hand. We're still gaining 2 life there. Shrapnel Blast, cracking the Nutrient block, puts us down to 9. Well, we could do without these lands game, but it's pretty good. So we'll resolve Yorion, blink everything. As you can see, they're just not pressuring the board, so their hand must be full on control of effects which counter our things. But we've now deployed a threat that they haven't been able to answer, and they probably don't have the burn to deal with. So we just pass an attack in. Yeah, and ultimately that's enough. Sadly, I think they went too hard into their sideboard plan. Okay, so fun little thing here. Previously on the channel I played a video which was a budget Golgari elf list, and it's not the list this gentleman is playing here in the elf deck, but it really shows the power of how this deck can go. Now, ironically, it's pretty lucky here we've started with a Deafening Clarion, but as I said before, I just want to cut things out. So we're going to Helix the War Master before they can make a ton of tokens. They go for the Clan Caller, and they tap out here to play another clan. Wait, did they tap out for the clan? Yeah, second Clan Caller, so we take 3. Now we have the Clarion though, so we can wipe their board. They have 2 cards in hand and 2 mana. So ultimately that's the clinch here. So play a land, Vanishing Verse, keep their Lord count down. They draw the 3rd land, they play a Shaman, so it was a good thing we kept the board clear. We'll play Niv off the top. We find a pretty good spread. We'll get rid of the shock land here. So we can hold up the No More Lies for the company. We can play the Biotech just for the sake of things here. And we can put pressure on because we win the race here. Unofficially, we can pretty much just go Biotech activation. Well, no, actually, we need 1 more damage. Yeah, but you know what? We'll swing in. Puts them down to 3. We'll play the Wandering Mind here. If we don't find the Helix, we'll just hold up. Nope, we'll find the Vanishing Verse to just take out anything scary. And they concede because we had the better presence here. So that's what you want versus elves. So I bring in the Culling Ritual and all of the Fatal Pushes. Don't worry, we'll never see them in any of the matches. I take out the Singularity Rupture because it's a bit too slow. Unmoored Ego because it doesn't really hit anything important. And I take out one of the No More Lies, 2 of the No More Lies to a second Verdict. The logic is, they have the Cavern of Souls, which is protection versus any counter. The only thing we can counter is their company, which is great, but at the same time is kind of meh. So this hand is terrible. We need better. I have to mulligan down here, so I'm like, well, we have Vanishing Verse into some other options, so we'll see what goes from there. So they go turn 1 Elf, into War Master, into Mystic. So I'm going to Vanishing Verse the Elf. So they have 4 mana here, so they could have company mana or anything to skip. No, they just swing in and play another Sentinel. Well, we drew our 3rd Widespread Thievery here. So we're going to play the Biotech, just for the sake of buying some time here. There's a Clan Caller to give Elves +1/+1, so we'll block. We need to draw something relevant here or we just die on the attack. And we draw the Ancient Cornucopia, which is not relevant. So unfortunately, I mean, we weren't dead there based on the board, but if they got anything else there, we would have been dead. So that was my fault for keeping a suspect hand. So this time I'm like, I'm 100% going to find removal. he says, as he then mulligans into a hand that has a removal spell, but 2 of our 5 drops and not enough colors to cast it. So, yeah. And then I go down to a hand that has neither, but I can't afford to go any lower, so I'm like, screw this Widespread Fever and screw this basic land. Joshua at least is a blocker that can cycle, and I'm sure this blocker that can cycle will cycle us into something relevant. But you'll notice that we're just going to draw lands here. And that's not an exaggeration, just keep a count on it. So the land draw is 1, we find a Culligan's Command, but I'm going to cycle with Joshua, cycle away 2 lands, draw another land. I'm like, okay, now we've got some solid interaction, it's pretty good, we should be okay. I mean, they could go nuts and dump over us, but also a 3/4 blocker is a pretty good thing against elves. So I'm going to shock in, play the Biotech, because I need to hit this other land drop. Biotech's also a body that we can throw under the bus if we need to, because they definitely have the company. I'm crossing my fingers it's not a double lord. It's not even a single lord, so I feel pretty solid right now. They play a Clan Caller, and they pass back. In this instance, I probably should have Vanishing Verse, but I popped the Lander token to try and get more lands out of our deck. Then we draw another land, of course we do. So, I consider my options, and I think my best bet is, I think there might be a Protect spell in their hand, so I'm like, I want you to go down to 1 card, and I'm going to make you discard the Clan Caller. They discard another Jesper, and I'll pass. I'm going to Vanishing Verse the Realm Walker, so we don't think they have anything too valuable. They have an Archdruid into a Leaf Crown Visionary, so we're taking 4 here. We're drawing nothing but land, so we're going to flip this Joshua, gain some life. I'm not going to play the land because I'm like, I need to cycle stuff. But we know they don't have much else in hand. I'm happy to block with the Biotech here, just for the sake of it. We draw the Widespread Fevery because, of course, we do. We draw nothing relevant. As you saw there, we didn't get anything, so we'll pass and put no Widespread Urine in our hand, which was probably a mistake now because they're definitely going to have... Yep, there's another Lord. They play a land, move to combat. They do the math to swing in to try and kill us here. Now we can survive on 1 with Joshua, so I'm like, I'm going to block the Leaf Crown, which will then literally put us to 1. We'll draw another land. We'll reanimate the Biotech. Joshua, cycle these 2 lands to find us something, please. Nope, 2 more lands, and this game is over. So, when the game wants you to draw literally, I think it was 7 of your 6 draws to be lands, you're going to lose the game. But it was a good showing for the power of an elf deck in this format, so please consider elves as a valid tribal in this deck. Alright, so last match of this video, and it's going to be time for a little rant. So this is Mono Green Devotion. Now, is Mono Green Devotion a broken deck? Honestly, not really. It's very powerful, it has very strong turns. The biggest problem I have with Mono Green Devotion right now, obviously it's one of my worst matchups and I'm not very big into it, obviously. And I have a bad taste in my mouth from the time when Khan was legal and it was the best deck and we literally played nothing but it. What happened at the end of this game was truthfully really infuriating. So, for those of you who aren't aware of what I'm talking about here, literally, I'm not joking, I am watching this video at 2x2 speed. And I'm not kidding, 50% of this entire video, this match here, is literally there. Yeah, so this game was a turn 4 Ulamog, which is, you know, that's a busted hand, we didn't interact, makes sense. The other half of this video is literally a turn. I think it's from like 50% of the way in. They will just take 1 turn, and I don't mean they're roping, I mean they are taking actions, but they take a turn that literally takes 6 minutes at double speed with, no joke, only 2 lands at the start of the turn. Now, do I think that Devotion needs banning into Oblivion? No. Do I think that the Nick Frost Shrine to Nyx needs banning? Yes. And I believe the reason I think it's going to need banning is a similar argument to what people have had for like the companions. When they banned Gigantha in this format, it was like, it's not a problem now, but it's going to become a problem moving forward. So why does that mean for me in talking about this? Well, it's best comparable to when they banned Birthing Pod in Modern. Wizards specifically said, we want to ban Birthing Pod now because it limits what we can print. If we print strong creatures, we are going to inevitably break Birthing Pod eventually. And this is what we see every time with these decks. There are 8 effects now that draw them cards when Power 4 or thing enters. Every time they now print a green creature with green, 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 or double green in its pip, the deck gets stronger. These decks are now running the uncounterable beast that makes all your spells uncounterable or something. I can't remember from Edge of Eternities. We are getting to a point where we could end up with a similar situation to because we've had Khan banned for this. Khan wasn't banned because it locked out artifacts. Khan was banned because this deck could use it to find anything out, you know, infinite combo and things from it there. Do I think that we're going to see more issues come out? Yeah, the more green stompy creatures we get, the better this deck is going to be. The fact that Craterhoof isn't good enough for this deck is insane to me. But yeah, so now they're starting their Storm turn. And I'm not kidding you, from now until the end of the video is entirely their turn. I literally concede after board wiping because I was bored of how long they were taking. And it probably wasn't necessarily needed to. I probably could have kept fighting, but honestly, I was just burnt at that point. And all of this is made possible because, as you can see, they have the Shrine to Nyx. Now, without the Shrine to Nyx, this turn would have still been pretty damn sick. They could have dropped some huge creatures. But honestly, I genuinely do believe that, not right now, obviously I'm coming off the back of a very salty match here. I don't think it's a problem now, but what I think is going to happen, and I see it all the more when I see new cards from every block come into Mono Green Devotion, we are going to probably end up with another ban needed for Mono Green Devotion, because it's going to be, you know, it's going to be too strong. And here's my argument for this. A green stompy ramp deck, yeah, should be it. But this deck has literally made over 100 mana on this turn. And even the budget version I made went over for 100 plus mana. Like, what the hell is happening here? So yeah, that's my little rant to Mono Green Devotion. I am of the opinion that Nick Voss is a card that we will eventually see banned, and I'd rather see it banned now, because Lord knows Pioneer has suffered enough with dealing with decks getting too strong and then having to sit at the top of the meta for like a year before they're dealt with. We put up with the Khan Mono Green Devotion deck, I think, for like 4 or 5 months before they actually took action to deal with it. And genuinely, I don't think that banning Nick Voss kills the Mono Green Stompy deck. Yeah, it stops turns like that, but they could still have some insane fast turns. But yeah, rant over. Enjoy the video.